Welcome to the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference 2025. So we're here with us, Osisko Development. Sean Roosen, how are you doing, Sean?
I am really well. One of the happiest companies here today, I think, Gilbert, and thank you guys and all your readers and followers for listening to our story.
Sure. So maybe you can quickly, before we delve in too much on the Osisko Development story, let's talk about Osisko.
Sure.
Your brand, your history, the track record a bit.
Well, I started as an underground miner at 18 years old. I founded the Osisko Group in 2003 with my other Osisko friends. So I've been running this group for about over 20 years now. Our first success was Canadian Malartic, which became Canada's largest gold mine at 700,000 ounces a year. We built that and we sold it in 2014 to Agnico and Yamana. Agnico subsequently bought that, and it's the biggest gold mine in Canada still, with about 32 million ounces of resource and producing between 600,000 and 700,000 ounces a year now. So that was, we shareholders got 4.1 billion or 3.7 billion US back for that. And we created a spin co called Osisko Royalties, which I was the CEO of that as well. We put that one on the New York Stock Exchange right away. It was a $500 million market cap company when I started it. Now at $5 billion. So, we've had a good ride there and built the fourth largest royalty portfolio in the world. And I think, it's a pretty big brand name, OR in the NYSE. Then we created what we call the Accelerator Group of companies, where we went back to what we do, which is to find good assets in brownfield camps. And we incubated several other companies. And the one I'm going to talk to you about today is Osisko Development Corporation. So one of the 5 Osisko companies with the name Osisko on it. So it's been a good name. It's traded at about $13 billion in market cap. We've been able to raise over $3 billion in equities since we started the group.
So let's spend a bit more time to talk about Osisko Development. Your Cariboo Gold project, your flagship project, you recently got permit. So can you tell us the progress of that?
Absolutely. This is a camp-sized project where I'm looking for multiple mines in a large land package. We have over 2,000 square kilometers of mineral rights there on an 83-kilometer long mineralized trend. The first piece of the puzzle is called the Cariboo Gold project, which is about 4.6 kilometers long. We published in 2023 a feasibility study looking for about 180 to 210,000 ounces a year of production in phase 1. And we received the final mining permit and environmental permits in November of 2024. So fresh off the press, and call out to the BC government. We're 4.8 years to get the permit, which is pretty fast in this industry. So, we're one of the elite companies that's actually been able to get a mining permit. The average in the industry is now 15 years. So, pretty happy. And that's what I said at the beginning, one of the happier companies here. We've got a great big gold deposit in British Columbia, Canada. We've got over $100 million in the bank, and we've got all our permits in place. And we're actually 1,200 meters into the underground now. So we're actually in the deposit, and we're looking for an updated feasibility here in Q1, Q2, and get busy on the final mine construction here this year.
Yeah, you talk about a bit of the cash position. So you recently raised US dollars, about $92 million in the bank.
Yeah.
And so how far will this financing lead you to, and before you need to do another financing?
So this is the last sort of equity deal that we needed before we did the full project financing, which will be sort of 75% debt. So, it got us where we needed to go. It allows us to get underground, get the bulk sample, start the development in the underground mine, finish up all the preparation for the actual mine build, detailed engineering and all the other stuff. So this gets us really, this is step 1 of the mine construction, and allows us to unlock what we believe is project financing now that we have the permit. The overall capex of this project is about 750 million Canadian, about 550 million US. So we're in good shape. We have about $800 million into this project so far. So there's a lot of dollars have gone into this. This is a big project. It's also a scalable project, in that this is going to be the first step of many.
Great to hear. And you mentioned a bit about the history. Of course, Osisko Mining, O3 Mining recently got bought out. Seems like the M&A is heating up. So is there any reason why Osisko is always among some of the leading M&A targets?
Well, Gilbert, I always say this. I mean, the best jockey in the world never won the Kentucky Derby riding a donkey. If you're going to be, you're going to go in the Kentucky Derby, you need a good horse. And for a mining promoter, if you're a good mining promoter, you have good assets, and we've always had good assets, and that's our real strength, is the ability to select assets, put together the proper management team, and bring to bear the right capital partners on that asset. So we've had great access to capital throughout the years, over $3.2 billion raised. And as you said, Osisko Mining, to our sister company, just got sold to Goldfields in November for $2.16 billion. So that's over almost $10 billion worth of things called Osisko that have been either monetized or in the marketplace. And then this is the next project. And so I did the royalty company, and I stepped back from the royalty company about 1.5 years to focus on this one, because I think we have a good shot to build a 500,000 to 600,000 ounce a year producer out of this asset in British Columbia, with the second asset located in Utah.
Great. Let's maybe talk a bit about the macro on the gold side of things. You know, how what's happening around the world seems to be quite very interesting for gold environment in the past few years. So how does the gold sort of ups and downs, or mostly positive environment, affecting your business, and how you manage your business?
Well, obviously, we sit in Canada. The Canadian dollar has gone down in value against the US dollar. So gold mines that are operating in Canadian costs are going to benefit from that. This is about $1,000 an ounce all-in sustaining cost kind of mine. So today's market, we would be making a margin of $1,700 an ounce if we hold that cost, right? So it's a very high margin mine that we're working on. And the fact that we're in Canada with a weaker dollar keeps costs down, and also gives us a low energy cost. We operate with hydroelectric power from Site C in British Columbia at 6.6 cents a kilowatt hour, so about 5 cents a kilowatt hour, which is one of the lowest in the world. So we've got energy costs on our side. We got relatively low cost inputs from a mining standpoint from an OECD country. And then on the macro basis, I mean, gold has been standing its time here as sort of the BRICS discussion gets underway, and everybody's talking about de-dollarization, competition from crypto. Gold is still the one thing that measures money for most people outside of cryptocurrency and after fiat currency. So, if you look at what an ounce of gold would buy you 1,000 years ago compared to what it would buy you today, it'll still buy you more now. Even though, you would think 1,000 years ago, you'd probably be able to get, more food or more chickens for an ounce of gold than you can today. An ounce of gold today will buy you a lot of chickens. I like the chicken index.
Okay, quite an analogy there. So, in summary, why should investors consider investing in Osisko Development right now when you compare yourself to other peers of your?
Well, I think we're one of the companies that's in a very elite group. We are permitted. We are on an asset that can be scaled. We're going to start out at 200,000 ounces a year. We think that this project has legs to even double or triple that. Top 20 gold mine in the world right now is about 300,000 ounces a year. So this could be one of the big assets in the world from the gold space. We have a lot of upside. We've only explored on 4.6 kilometers of 83 kilometers of this mineralized trend. We're only down 350 meters over 4.6 kilometers, and we've been averaging, for every 100 meters we go down, 100 meters, we've been averaging about 1.5 to 2.2 million ounces. We've drill tested this deposit down to 1,000 meters. Now, we haven't done enough drilling to frame up a resource, but the next two mines are probably just below us. 350 meters in today's technology is very shallow. So we've got a lot of upside right where we are. We've got a great government. We got our permit in 4.8 years. And, if you look at what Canada is doing right now as a go-to country for investment, I think we're in pretty good shape. The U.S. is evolving with the Trump era. The U.S. dollar is ripping pretty strong, but even against the strong dollar, the gold price has continued to do its part. And I think we're in a great shape to take advantage of this market.
Great, Sean. Thank you for sharing your story with us here today.
Thank you very much, Gilbert. I'm going to get myself one of these suits, though, buddy. I'm telling you that.
Thank you for your time.